Hello and welcome to Inside Iraq. I'm David Foster. It's been a week of comings and goings in Iraq and of bleak reports published. The British withdrew their troops from the city of Basra in the south, signalling their possible full disengagement from Iraq in the near future. On the same day, US President George Bush made a surprise stopover in Iraq, meeting military commanders as well as Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. The next day, a congressional watchdog released a damning report. It said that the Iraqi government had failed to meet most of the benchmarks set by Congress to justify the continued US military presence in the country. Next week sees the release of a further report, this one on US strategy in Iraq from President Bush's top diplomat and army general in Baghdad. The stakes are rising ever higher in the political poker that is Iraq. Roya Raghi has more on the story.
Sooner or later, the world was going to see these images. British troops pulling out from the last base they held in the southern city of Basra and handing it over to Iraqi forces. While not exactly a full withdrawal from the whole province, the move is seen as a stepping stone toward a complete handover expected to take place as soon as autumn. From a PR point of view, this image is probably not what the Bush administration would have wanted to see on television screens the same day the commander-in-chief himself arrived in Iraq. President Bush's visit on September 3rd was considered by some critics as a last-ditch attempt to garner support for his Iraq policy, ahead of the release of an evaluation to the surge by the top general in Iraq, David Petraeus.
The surge of operations that began in June is improving security throughout Iraq. These military successes are paving the way for the political reconciliation and economic progress the Iraqis need to transform their country.
Back in January, Congress approved President Bush's plan to send 30,000 additional troops to Iraq. But conditions to such an approval were set. Congress required assessments to be made on a set of political and security goals. And just one day after President Bush's visit to Iraq, one of these assessments was released on the performance of the Iraqi government. It makes for damning reading, rather like a school report a parent wouldn't want to see. The Government Accountability Office, or GAO, is a congressional watchdog. The title chosen for its report gives it all away. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki's government has failed many of the tests it was set. Of 18 required benchmarks, the Iraqi government met only 3. It's partially met 4, and it did not meet 11. And it's those unmet benchmarks that are posing the most serious threat undermining political and economic prosperity in the country. They include enacting de-Baathification laws, even distribution of oil revenues, and eliminating militia